I mean, he has to feel like blessed to be here in a certain way. This is an extra life that he gets thanks to Skillus losing to Young Yakov to some degree, right? So not to take away from him, he did go 5-2 in groups, which is very impressive, but it was also not up to him pretty much to make it here. So, you know, maybe that relieves pressure in some way. Let's see what he can do. It is in the top right-hand side for the Shopify Rebellion, the biggest lips in the scene. It's Harstem.
And spawning over in the bottom left, representing Mouse Sports is the blue Terran. It is HeRoMaRinE. And HeRoMaRinE already bringing the pressure here. Got a bit of a proxy barracks on the map, and it's not in a super normal location. Harstem is doing what he does very often, where he goes around searching for proxies as opposed to scouting across the map. And it looks like HeRoMaRinE's barracks here is in a perfect location to avoid that scout.
Yeah, this may have been some diligent scouting, some diligent studying from HeRoMaRinE in order to decide where to put that barracks, as Harstem is not going to have any chance to spot it. This will be a considerably faster Reaper to make it to the other side of the map, and I expect it's going to be a factory probably to follow, and the SCV hasn't moved, so maybe a factory here proxied as well, Ben?
I have had the fortune of watching Big Gabe when he goes up against Harstem many times on ladder. And, you know, there's a lot of comments about, oh, how he didn't scout and, oh, how this is risky and stuff and how he'll abuse him in a tournament. And I think this is one of those situations where we could be seeing that happen. It is just going to be a scout with the SCV and probably going to be like a bunker going down at this natural. Thing is that Reaper's going to be following it up very damn quickly. And Harstem is going to be none the wiser about when this is going to come. In fact, he's totally blind, and yet again, we've seen this many times from Harstem in this tournament so far.
Yeah, so the Reaper has already arrived. One of the probes will go down, the second one also. There's no shield battery here whatsoever, and that means that at least one more might go down. The Reaper does step onto its own grenade, so that's, you know, something going in the favor of Harstem, but another probe is going to fall to make it a total of 3. Finally, the Adept is out. But now Harstem has to contend with a bunker on the low ground. That means he's going to need an extra shield battery there. And things are looking not so great for him at the moment.
Not so great. They're looking absolutely tragic, aren't they? I mean, his one saving grace is he's got a probe in the main, which is probably going to get locked in there and then die itself, which kind of sucks for him as well. Oh. And I mean, he does have a Stargate, which is in his base. That's one. Well, that's his tech of choice here. But, mate, this is not looking good for the Dutchman at all.
Yeah, I mean, that'll be the 4th probe that falls in the main of HeRoMaRinE. And again, he's not even able to mine his natural base, which just makes things a little bit worse. 19 probes in the main now means that he's not going to be mining as effectively as he could be. Now, finally, with the shield battery, he should be able to take down this bunker. Chrono Boost is allocated onto the Oracle, which wants to cross the map and try to make some damage happen, but this has just looked hopeless so far.
It certainly has. I love this SCV kind of plonking out on the opposite side as well here. There's a little bit of a juking and jiving here. Will escape with both those Reapers as well, getting the salvage on the bunker. Didn't quite get a scout into the main base. And he has to be kind of careful, actually. There is an Oracle out on the map, and the only thing that he has that shoots up are these Widow Mines, which can't do it while they're not under the surface.
Yeah, okay, the Oracle's gonna spot it. Looks like the SCV building the bunker, and yeah, it'll go after the 2 SCVs on the low ground. That's something for free. 3 SCVs have fallen now on the side of Harstem, and he will also get to scout the Widow Mines as they burrow. A couple of SCVs are bruised in the main, and one of them will get taken down, as Harstem has to reposition the Oracle to avoid the mine. But hey, that's plenty of damage actually to more than equalize things. And at this point, he could even suicide. No!
Oh no!
I was gonna say he could even suicide the Oracle to go to drag fire onto the SCVs, but not paying attention, he just, you know, lets it die for free.
Yeah, up until that point, I was like, holy crap, this Oracle's done more than enough damage to get him back into the game. Losing the Oracle definitely sucks, but he's still in pretty damn good shape when it comes to the work account. It's just he's got a Widow Mine drop come into his base along with those 2 Reapers, and no reaction, no reaction. Okay, he moves.
All right, 5 probes is a lot better than I thought it would be. The other Oracle on the other side continued to do damage. So actually, worker count right now, 31 to 23 after all is said and done. 12 SCVs total full on the side of HeRoMaRinE, and only 6 probes on the side of Harstem. Of course, compounding effects with the much earlier probes lost earlier, which was a total of 4. Or apparently 5.
Yeah, he did lose both oracles. And resources lost wise, that is yeah, I mean that's a big deal. He's lost more overall. Starts up his third base. I mean, this has been a proper bruiser of a start of a game. Big Gabe's going to be moving in with that Widowmine drop once again, but he is going to be met by Phoenix and quite a few Protoss units this time.
We should be fine here. Yeah, the Phoenix do lift up the mines. I'm not even sure that the probes needed to evacuate with this many units on site. But maybe if there was a 4th Widow mine, that would have been really deadly if he didn't evacuate. So can't blame Harstem there. Still, no damage taken from the Widow mine drop is really good news. I would say Harstem has a slight advantage here, Benny.
I would absolutely agree with you. I think it might have been a little bit bull-headed there of HeRoMaRinE charging in like he did. He did get one thing, though, which is scouting information. Gets to see that it is going to be Phoenixes, which means that, okay, my opponent, I can't walk onto the map with random things anymore. I can't just kind of continue. He knows that he can switch out of this tech that he's got going, but he has to be so damn careful with that Raven that he's made.
Yeah, no, the Phoenix are going to look onto crossing on the other side of the map. A lot of the Widow mines have been taken down, so it seems like a wise maneuver here. He still has to be careful as he approaches, so we see a little bit of control here and there onto the Phoenix. So Harstem's definitely looking where he needs to be looking. The Viking does outrange the Phoenix significantly, so one of them being low, they have to escape for the time being.
Charge will be what Harstem's going for here. I don't think he yet has a rowboat. No, he doesn't. So he's getting charge plus 1 armor. So his anti-air and vision right now is just really these Phoenix. That's what he's really banking on here. Getting a lot of info, making sure he kind of wounds HeRoMaRinE, keeps him at home as well. And he's also done a good job of stabilizing and getting that third base economy up and running. It's a cool style by Harstem. I like it.
It is a very cool start indeed. I don't think he spotted the Raven either. And yeah, he's going charge slots, which is always an interesting choice. A lot of the time you expect the Colossus to be coupled up with the Phoenix. Of course, with charge, you can kind of get rid of, the Widow mines and the medevacs with the Phoenix, and then charge slots on paper are really good against all the bio. But yeah, like no really consistent AoE on the side of the Dutch.
No AoE whatsoever. And this is going to be a sick timing from HeRoMaRinE. And he's got a Widow mine above that starport as well. If he gets a big connection, which that's a big amount of damage. Is it going to be 2 Phoenix falling? There's 1 surviving with 3 health over there, but the push is coming. Look at that. The Raven gets into position as well. Throws down a few auto turrets here, but the shield battery overcharge is working wonders there on that back line.
Yeah, is it going to be enough? Additional warpins come here as the Raven does get taken down from the Phoenix returning home. There isn't that much more for HeRoMaRinE, and the reinforcements have been stalled by the presence of the Phoenix on the other side, which means Harstem's next warpin is going to be go time for him. And so he is now on the chase. HeRoMaRinE is going to try to make a hold here at the watchtower, and the Zealots do focus the tank, which allows for the Marines to output the maximum DPS that they can output. Great focus firing nets HeRoMaRinE. A lot of those Phoenix in the air, and manages to retreat now without threat.
I think those trades against the Phoenix were absolutely worth it, because that has absolutely blasted that Phoenix count. And if you are a Phoenix player, you have 2 options. You either remake them, which they're very expensive, or you go into something else. You have to get extra techs like Blink Stalkers to make sure you can deal with future drops later on. And he's saying, okay, I'm going to go for the Phoenix, and I'm going to go for a Robo Bay here. This is... I mean, Harstem's still absolutely in it, and his economy's still damn good, but that was definitely a big blow.
Big blow from Big Gabe, who's looking to apply big pressure right now. Moving on to the watchtower. Good perimeter setup. If we look at the vision of Harstem, he is kind of everywhere, so he will see everything that's coming, and Adept even shades forward before backing away manually, so he sees even the reinforcements. Great information gathering from Harstem, but knowing is only half the battle, Benny.
It certainly is. And I love the fact that he's got a few sentries sprinkled in here. Good for Guardian Shield, good for force fields here, but look at that. Big Gabe, he's catching him unaware. 0 reaction. That Widow mine could have been juicier, but it's all extra damage, free damage at this point.
Yeah, no target firing on those Widow mines from Big Gabe is a little bit of a lifesaver. There are only 6 probes. It could have been much worse, like you were alluding to. On the other side, the War Person was going to try to make something happen as it drops a few Zealots, but Big Gabe does have units in place to answer here. So Harstem gonna have to look for new avenues. No 4th base for either. And I imagine Big Gabe has to feel a little bit better about that than Harstem does, right?
Oh, yeah. The Protoss usually wants to stay a base ahead over the Terran. And look at that worker count as well. Oh, wait. Did those Widowmites stay in the main base? Oh, my God, they did. He had to wait until a cannon went up for them to go away. So a few little things here just kind of going in HeRoMaRiNE's favor. The one thing that was working against him, he was a little bit supply blocked, had to throw down a supply drop there. But yeah, you're totally right. Protoss usually have to stay one base ahead against a Terran player, not the other way around.
Yeah, and it's going to be Big Gabe that actually starts his next command center already. Not on site, but it doesn't matter. The War Prism will avoid the Widow Mine, but it cannot avoid these Vikings, and so it will fall. Having dropped a couple of Zealots in the main, now HeRoMaRiNE knows that he doesn't need to keep any army at home, at least for the time being. So he might look to reinforce or just, you know, go on the multi-prong, just be a little bit more offensive and maybe put a little bit more pressure. And this army from Harstem, it does not look very intimidating. This disruptor shot needs to connect, but it gets caught a little bit too fast. And Benny, this is looking bad. As Harstem at least has some Phoenix to work with here. The force fields are kind of working against him, it felt like.
Yeah, he was very fortunate that HeRoMaRiNE had quite a few of his forces back at home. That disruptor, by the way, I don't know if it was just rallied there or what, but it was kind of in like a little dark alleyway without an end, or rather, it was stuck in a real damn hard place. Definitely got battered and bruised. He does now have a Colossus in his army, but there's already quite a few Vikings here. There's no shield battery done at this base either. This is brutal.
Yeah, finally a Colossus here for consistent damage output, but it's gonna get focused down by this Phoenix, and there's no battery like you said, so it's just gonna fall next time it pokes ahead if HeRoMaRiNE is paying attention, and of course he is. Colossus goes down, the rest of the army does hold with the help of the cannon, but HeRoMaRiNE now with a decent advantage, 66 to 66 workers, is not usually good news for the Protoss player.
No, and one of the big things is HeRoMaRiNE's actually managed to afford a second engineering bay. He's getting ghosts out, he's getting a second starport as well, because he's been up against Phoenix. I don't know how many Phoenix have died this game. It must be in like the 10 or so at this point, which is huge value. Okay, 6. A little bit less, but 2 oracles as well. That's a lot of money that Harstem's thrown out, and look at that. He's getting more disruptors. He's got 2 Robo getting out Colossus as well, going for Dark Shrine at this point as well. And it's not the Dark Shrine where it's like, hey, I've got map control and stuff. It's the Dark Shrine where it's like, hey, I hope I can get something done with it, which does not shed confidence at all.
For sure not. This observer's gathering good information, and Harstem has been very good consistently throughout this game at that. He knows what's coming time and time again, but just hasn't had the means to stop it. Big Gabe has been undoing him regardless. On that disruptor shot that you were talking about, I actually quite like the position of that disruptor. It felt like at most other angles that HeRoMaRiNE could have come from, it would have gotten a shot, and it would have come from like an unexpected location, from, you know, separate from the rest of the army. But unfortunately for Harstem, it kind of like the army of HeRoMaRiNE kind of just walked into it, saw it first, and it got to fire at it. So I don't know. I kind of like Hail Mary plays at this point for Harstem. Maybe with a new disruptor that he has, maybe he can find another one of those very annoying positions. Because if he doesn't get a huge disruptor shot, Benny, I don't know what he's gonna do to bring himself back into this one. It's a 40 supply difference nearly.
HeRoMaRiNE is doing a really good job of having 2 armies on the map, and he's going to be really taxing that multitasking of Harstem. And Harstem shooting into the dark there, but almost getting away with it as well. That was quite ballsy, and will get a ghost for his troubles here. Shield battery overcharge is launched, but it's got a lot of work to do. Oh my God.
Next disruptor shot is good. Yeah, that is pretty good. And now with the Zealots flooding in from the high ground, Harstem has actually not more than equalized the supply. It's actually now favoring him. That was fantastic. With that one disruptor shot connecting and the rest of the unexpected Zealots, it has been a defense and a half here, Ben.
I start getting super worried. These ghosts got picked up into the like super low health medevac there, but yeah, that was definitely a bit mishandled there from HeRoMaRiNE. I know it can feel good when you land all the EMPs and it's like, hey man, that shield battery overcharge has got a lot of work to do, but Harstem just kind of weathered the storm, survived, and then boom, that disruptor shot, the Hail Mary that you were talking about earlier, and he's more than back in it here.
Absolutely. Now he has a 5th base, a little bit faster than Big Gabe. He has the supply lead. He is a couple of workers ahead. These are all signs of better times for Harstem, who was looking a little bit worse just a second ago. Now looking for another opportunity to continue to push on further. However, that is a lot of Vikings, or at least more Vikings than he has Vikings, or more Vikings than he has Phoenix, and so he's gonna have to back away for the time being.
Even though Harstem's the one now with map control, and this is where the DTs can start to do work, like you've got a bit more semblance of comfort, right? You don't have to worry about getting attacked everywhere. Harstem still has to be careful, because his army doesn't get much better than this. He's at 200 supply, can't really make anything else until he loses units. And HeRoMaRiNE's working on the next stage here, which is going to be Liberators with +2 and range. That's going to be scary.
Oh! Yeah, almost a good Disruptor shot. Almost a lost Disruptor as well. As the next shot is just going to be to zone out. And HeRoMaRiNE has been very good at poking at this Colossus. Here come the DTs, though, and it's a lot of DTs. They're going to blink on forward. They're going to make short work of that Planetary Fortress. There's no saving that. I don't care how many SCVs you put on it. At the same time, Harstem shifts his attention towards the other side, as this side has already been handled by those Dark Templars. Would you just morph those into Archons and just have him join the rest of the army, or is that too crazy?
I think Archons serve almost no purpose at this point just because of the EMPs. And the EMP upgrade is available, so they're just going to be dead meat when that happens. But what HeRoMaRiNE, well, what Harstem needs to do is just try and knuckle down on the fact that he's got more eco, and just trying to really tax HeRoMaRiNE's multitasking now, because these DTs can take out a base if HeRoMaRiNE isn't careful. So he's going to be trying to bounce from one side, attack another, and then sending the DTs in while a lot of chaos is happening. So that's what you're going to see from Harstem here, just trying to force a lot of action.
Love it. Now the DTs are looking to join with the army, maybe pounce onto the mineral line or something of the likes. But yeah, they were looking for the base on the inexisting base, I guess, of HeRoMaRiNE, as he would want to take it. And this is good news for Harstem, right? Like, not seeing the base means that he is going to continue to get away or ahead in the economy department. Disruptor shot will not have any shot at actually connecting there or finishing. Stalker's trying to blink on forward to shield the rest of his army, as now the DTs are going to walk into an undefended mineral line. The Liberator will have something to say about that, but not before 9 SCVs fall.
Yeah, and I mean, these kind of trades, Harstem can afford them, but he also just wants to keep HeRoMaRiNE at bay, because we've seen a lot of gateways added on. In fact, he's up to 11, soon to be 12 gateways here by the looks of it. In fact, made that 13, but that is a big amount of Terran. And that is a scary, scary army to be going up against. All the Colossus have been killed very soon by these Vikings. And, oh my goodness. Harstem has a lot of static defense to fall back on, though.
He sure does. Now the DTs are trying to do something on the other side of the map. A bunker will be of great help here to HeRoMaRiNE. And he once again has attained the lead in terms of just a sheer army value and sheer army size.
That was cute by Harstem. He was like running that DT left, right, and center, trying to avoid the EMPs, given that HeRoMaRiNE didn't want to use a scanner. Oh my god, that's so many. That's so many Stalkers. That was really crazy by Big Gabe sieging up where he did. He didn't expect that number of Stalkers.
Yeah, really good blink as well from Harstem to instantly capitalize. And now with that, he's going to be somewhat stable. This game is definitely a little bit of a barn burner, with the closest game I think we've had all day, Benny. So bless it.
Absolutely, absolutely. The Liberator count, what's it at? It's at 6. I mean, it did absolutely get decimated there by Harstem. And Harstem's army... Oh! Nice shot to start things off.
That is a fatty one. That force field was weird. Didn't catch anything. On the other side, the DTs are going to get scanned and now sniped on the way out, as 3 of them will return to Ire.
HeRoMaRiNE needs to slow this game down quite a bit. Like, his army is actually very good if he can just kind of make sure that he doesn't take too many disruptor shots. So I would look from him that he's just defending with quite a few Liberators, maybe a Ghost or 2 as well for EMPs. Just getting together a good army, because Harstem, he isn't looking for any kind of air switch after this. This is it right now, his final form, but he's doing such a good job of making HeRoMaRiNE think that he needs to do something.
Yeah, but there are sometimes 4 Liberators in a row here coming at a time for HeRoMaRiNE. So, okay, this Disruptor shots do give you hope here and there, Ben, as they are finding connections when they can, but only 3 remaining now, and these Liberators are increasing in count. On the other side, the DTs are continuing to try to cause some havoc here, and they are successfully killing some SCVs. But I mean, in a way, it's better that those are not PFs at this stage of the game. It feels like, because it's so difficult to commit onto the orbital commands if you're a Dark Templar.
Certainly is. Harstem's army is approaching 3-3 now. HeRoMaRinE didn't get the +3 armor, but it is kind of a weird game where they've both taken a lot of damage. And look at that, Harstem blinking on top of these Liberators, but EMP lands, and then the Liberators one-shot the Stalkers. Oh, that was a bad fight for Harstem to take. He's going to try and wrap around. He's going to try and get Chaos done on the other side of the map, but he has to forfeit this third base.
Yeah, I mean, the DTs on the other side do catch a lot of the army. They're gonna blink on forward and try to catch the rest, as they do have the numbers to work with, especially with the Zealot's help here. As Harstem is now looking for a flank onto the army of Big Gabe, maybe looking to catch those. The Disruptor's actually looking for a catch as well, but it won't find it. And the Liberators managed to turn around to account for where the army of Harstem was coming from. Big Gabe with a billion medevacs and plenty of energy to work with as well. Means that he has Stim for days here, and these Disruptors do not have any chance of turning the corner here. Their shots are just so far away from connecting, given just how the map looks like in this location.
And look at that, the main base, it's forfeit here. Like, he can't do anything about it. He's trying to get some damage done with DTs. He's thinking about going up this ramp. He recalls back into the main base.
Okay.
Lots of Disruptor shots going down. The Liberators repositioned here to take out the Stalkers in the main. And Harstem, he's reclaimed his main base.
Yeah, that was a very impressive move. Again, going up that ramp and turning that corner was going to be near impossible for Harstem and his Disruptor. So identifying that he had to look for the recall was brilliant. And he ends up holding, and somehow, some way, I mean, with all the DT harassment on the other side, he's actually maintained a supply and a worker lead.
Certainly has, and it's calls for desperate times when you see Terrans floating over their main base, and that's exactly what he's got to do here. Over to that left side, that is his main. He's going to reposition there, getting a Liberator set up, and HeRoMaRiNE's actually turning his focus over to the main, or rather the top left over here, but there's almost more medevacs than bio here with this army, so it's not as scary as it could be.
Absolutely, and the Disruptors do
not
care about the kill. It's a huge one, and with that, Ben, it's gonna be easy cleanup here for Harstem. Bye-bye Liberators. Everything that remains has to get picked up onto the medevacs. And yeah, HeRoMaRiNE, just a second of not paying attention will cost them dearly. I was talking about the supply, and yeah, the army supply was in favor of Harstem, etc. But actually, the army values were very close together, given just how high of a tech complexity HeRoMaRiNE was working with. Now working primarily with Marines, and each one has its individual medevac. But again, that doesn't matter if these Disruptor shots connect at all.
Oh, and there's enough Disruptor shots to kind of keep them going as well. So Harstem can continually kind of bully his way into HeRoMaRiNE's base here, his setup, and eventually one's going to hit, right? And HeRoMaRiNE is left with basically nowhere to run.
Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. And yeah, I mean, he is with his back up against the wall. I would love for Harstem to just situate himself a little bit closer to his bases. HeRoMaRiNE, he's trying to split his heart out, but there's not much remaining that he can do, it feels like, in this game. 50, now the supply lead for the Dutch, looking for the first map in the way of an upset of the entire day. We don't expect that he will be able to 3-0 HeRoMaRiNE, so maybe this is finally a series, and if it is not, it will be a huge upset, but absolutely fantastic from Harstem. A very back and forth game, Benny.
That was definitely back and forth. It started off with fire too, right? Like HeRoMaRiNE with a little bit of a proxy there. Wasn't a full-out proxy. Got 3 probes at the start of the game, 4 if you include the one in his base. That was looking bleak, but Harstem played solid. Like, he really did. I think also HeRoMaRiNE tried to get a little bit too eager there with the medevac going in again, and even though we got scouting information, it was 3 Widow Mines and a medevac for free, basically. Overall, just very nicely handled by Harstem. And given that it is the day of 3 zeros, maybe 3-0 Harstem?
Oh, that would be incredible. That would be absolutely incredible. The next map is going to be Glittering Ashes. And yeah, I love that game because it was kind of a comeback at many points in time for Harstem, right? Like, a lot of the time when the favorite kind of latches onto the lead, it is very difficult to see that lead escape them. But this time around, I mean, Harstem clawed his way back into this game, I want to say multiple times even. So very impressive showing from him.
No, certainly. I think I'm also very impressed by Harstem because very often I can see him go with a plan. The plan doesn't quite work out, and then he can like falter. But here, there was moments where it potentially looked like HeRoMaRiNE was absolutely getting back and had control. But Harstem just hung on, you know, absolutely hung on and just made it his own. And I think that was truly courageous by him, because that's sometimes where I felt that his game was a little bit weaker than others. But if he's showcasing here that you absolutely can hang on and weather the storm, yeah, that's a very scary Harstem to go up against.
Absolutely. You never can stop believing, right? Like a lot of the time when something goes wrong in a game, it's so easy as a player to just kind of give up, especially if you feel like you had a lead and you've let it slip against a player that is considered better than you, that you probably consider better than you to some degree, right? At least certainly much more accomplished. So yeah, big props to Harstem for not giving up at any point there, but always looking for those solutions, sometimes creative. That recall was incredible. And yeah, he's gonna get game number 1 for all his troubles, so gets rewarded. Game number 2 is here, and in the top right hand side, it is the man with the lead for the Shopify Rebellion. It is Harstem.
And spawning over in the bottom left side is the blue Terran. On Glittering Ashes is Big Gabe. So, Katz, I got a question for you.
What's up?
You found it weird that Showtime had a couch in his background. How do you feel about having a table and chairs?
Well, I don't think that's his room is the thing.
I mean, if it's not his room, who is it?
I think that's the living room.
Oh, so when you say his room, you mean like his bedroom, not actually a room belonging to him.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. So I was like, if it's not his room, Katz, and he's just in some random neighbors, that's a bit weird too.
Yeah. I meant his bedroom. I'm sorry. Excuse me.
You're forgiven, Paulo.
Thank you, Benny.
Man.
But yeah, that's his dining room or his living room, right? Both, it looks like, maybe.
And you're okay with having a PC in your dining room?
I mean, it's not conventional. Shutdown had it in the kitchen.
Actually, I think Denver also had his in the kitchen.
Yeah, that's impressive.
That is impressive. By the way, this
maybe
game...
it's a French thing.
French thing? I mean, HeRoMaRiNE's German, dude.
Denver. No, maybe it's because I said Shutdown, you said Denver, though they're both French.
I thought you were mistaken
in the
Big
kitchen.
Gabe for...
No, Big Gabe. That's not a kitchen. That's not a kitchen. All right.
It could be connected to what now?
It might be, yeah. In the back, I think there is a kitchen, but
like maybe the webcam is next to the microwave. You never know these things, man. Gamers live in very weird ways. Oh,
nice. All right, that's a start for Harstem. I mean, this probe is certainly gonna fall, but so is the SCV. I think before it can complete the bunker, the Stellot is a nice adaptation here from the Dutch, as he did scout on the other side this time around. He knew that there was something missing. It was the barracks, of course, and so he decided to make a Stellot this time. 2 probes, though, do go down regardless.
I actually don't think this is bad for Harstem at all, though. Like, the fact that he negated this bunker, if we think about last game, it was 4 probes dying, bunker got down, had to make a shield battery, had to make, like, 2 stalkers kind of thing to deal with. Like, this is obviously a way better start for the Dutchman, which, yeah, we're thinking about 3-0 today, Cats. I mean, I'm not going to be calling it too early. That's a beautiful scout by HeRoMaRiNE. He knew exactly where to go.
Yeah, and he was already kind of accounting for this to some degree. A Cyclone, a little bit of a catch-all unit, but particularly good, I think, against the Stargate units, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like, the build that HeRoMaRiNE's going for is... I feel that this is kind of similar to what a few Terrans some time ago, like the bunnies of the world, were going for, where it's... In fact, it was kind of around the time that Innovation was still playing as well. He's going to be doing a super all-in with this, I feel, which absolutely against Phoenix could catch him. He sees the Phoenix immediately. That's actually huge. That kind of gives HeRoMaRiNE the knowledge that what he's going for right now is absolutely the right thing to be going for. This could catch Harstem super off guard, but he is going to scout it. Oh, is he? Maybe not.
Maybe not. I mean, sees the Cyclone and backs away, and rightfully so. The Cyclone is so scary, but maybe with the second Phoenix, he's willing to poke, as he will be able to lift up the Cyclone. I think you probably want at least 3, though, if you're looking for a kill onto it.
With Cyclone, yeah, he's mainly just looking for info, like, rather than damage here, I think. HeRoMaRiNE gets to see that it is going to be more Phoenix. Oh, gets a very fresh mule there. That's actually...
HeRoMaRiNE kills an SCV, yeah.
Wow. Well, Big Gabe, I mean, that's quite a bit of value there, whether Harstem knows it or not. I mean, a mule and an SCV for his troubles. Wow.
Not too bad at all. And now we got 4 Phoenix reunited with themselves. And I mean, Harstem is continuing to make Phoenix, which is the scary part for him, right? You already alluded to this. This is a lot of production of Bio. It's going to be Stim and Combat Shields finishing together. And that could mean a very strong push, of which Phoenix are not very effective against, right? Like Phoenix want to pick up high-value targets with their energy. Marines are the cheapest target that you can get from the Terran side.
This is going to be very hard for Harstem to hold, actually, because it's going to be a buttload of units with decent upgrades as well. Stim and Combat Shield being done. 3 tanks. I mean, the Phoenix can lift up tanks and stuff.
He's going to see it.
When you see this SCV count being so low at the natural, you know something's up. And like you see, you see these Phoenix stop moving for a moment in time there. I'm going to look from Harstem's vision here. He's starting to put down shield batteries defensively. He knows something's up.
Yeah, there was actually an adept that ran into the army head on, so he knows exactly what's going on. He knows that there's some SCVs moving out as well. I am actually rather surprised that the Phoenix went after the SCVs. I think at this point in time, it would have been better to just look for reinforcements, catch the tail end units, and try to fight for the army, because you're already massively ahead in terms of economy, but he's gonna choose to fight with a shield battery overcharge. Unfortunately for him, it's gonna fall a little bit too fast. The tanks get lifted up, but to no avail. There's too many Marines here. Harstem has to forfeit this position. Cancel would be nice, but it's gonna be a kill onto the shield battery. The pylons are also gonna complete. That's more for HeRoMaRinE to take down for free. Now Harstem is looking to angle to try to pick up the reinforcements like I was talking about earlier, and he's only gonna find 1 Marine for his troubles.
Yeah, this was very ambitious by Harstem, trying to hold this 3rd base here. I like, with how much damage that he did and how much self-damage HeRoMaRinE took, I think just trying to hold the natural was his best bet, but he's going to make a last stand here at this natural, but these Stalkers, they can't do it alone. The Phoenix are on the map, and GG, a Big Game special coming in.
Yeah, Harstem severely overestimating his capacity to hold there. I mean, yeah, just a little bit unfortunate, right? Like you said, like trying to hold the 3rd, a little bit ambitious. The shield battery overcharge seemed to have been a little bit late, and also like those Phoenix going after the tanks, there was just not the DPS there that he needed to take that army down. So again, after getting full information of what was going on, after seeing that Big Gabe was moving out big time early on with a couple tanks with the adept, and confirming with the SCV count, like you mentioned, I think he should have never gone for those SCVs at the natural either. Should have just gone for units. Win condition was only the army, so lots of different things that he could have done, I think, to try and hold. But as it stood, he took all the greedy maneuvers, and that was just not even close.
Yeah, he took all the greedy maneuvers, and for Big Gabe, he made a call early on. Then he got confirmation with the Phoenix that it's actually a really good call. And so at that point, he just kind of had to be like, all right, I just don't want to give away the plan too soon, which apparently he did a good job of selling as well. And Harstem just a bit too greedy there, didn't switch out of it quick enough. If we think about things that he could have done, he could have got out more ground units and battle units in general, tried to hold the natural more than the 3rd base, because I think the 3rd base was almost forfeit, but just trying to tech into something else as well. Because, yeah, if HeRoMaRinE pushes across the map with that army, that's very much a do-or-die army. Has no medevacs, no longevity. And it's literally like a perfect go against a Phoenix opener. So it definitely felt like HeRoMaRinE maybe had a tell from Harstem in that, oh, when the game goes this way, you like to go into this, because it was the perfect call by him to do what he did.
Yeah, unfortunately for Harstem, he's going to have to do some adjustments here. And we are now loaded into the 3rd map. This is going to be Curious Minds, and it wasn't a 3-0, Ben. So, yay. In the bottom right-hand side, it is for the Shopify Rebellion, Harstem.
And spawning over in the top left, it is HeRoMaRinE. I don't know if you were with me the other day. This was kind of like the top, or the winner bracket match that I was kind of most looking forward to, because I felt that of all the people that Harstem could run into, and I mean, they're all really good, right, at this stage, like all really solid. I felt that maybe HeRoMaRinE felt like the most doable for him. even though like HeRoMaRinE is absolutely solid, and HeRoMaRinE doesn't go into this thinking, oh man, I'm the underdog. He's not. He's the absolute big dog. But yeah, as far as like series prep and stuff, prepping for HeRoMaRinE is a lot more doable if you think about what Harstem's strengths are.
Yeah,
and
the
say
way you
like
put
a
it,
Clem or a Reina or a Cyril or something.
for sure. The way you put it was actually, if I recall correctly, they are the best opponents for each other.
Yeah, yeah. And I really feel that way, because Harstem can be sneaky. He can also be very straight up, which when it comes to those Protoss players that HeRoMaRinE is good against, Harstem can kind of do his own thing, because he's not. You've seen this. Like, he's not so much about scouting his opponent necessarily. He kind of scouts what he can die to, and then does his thing regardless. Like, he doesn't often super react to HeRoMaRinE. So HeRoMaRine's playing this game of, all right, what is it you're going for this game? HeRoMaRiNE does go for a CC on the high ground, by the way, which Harstem didn't yet scout. Which, yeah, just again, Harstem with his plans and stuff. Like, maybe now he's thinking like, okay, what the hell is my opponent doing?
Yeah, I mean, it would have been nice if he poked in a little bit further. I guess they don't want to get the probe trapped, perhaps. And HeRoMaRiNE has placed his CC in a very good location. Can you scout it from just poking as close as possible here as Harstem?
I think you can just about if you go up to that top left little gap. Which, I mean, it's been a while. It's been a while for me.
Yeah. Let's see. Well, the Reaper's gonna punish that probe eventually. But at least Harstem knows where the Reaper is, I guess. That's going to allow for the Adept to move across the map. But there is no longer an expansion to punish. There's already a wall off ready as well. So best thing this Adept can do is maybe catch the Reaper unawares.
And he does know that a Reaper's on the map.
Oh,
but
timing. Okay.
That doesn't really help him too much. Oh, he's actually going to get the kill. Unless he's up at the ramp, but he's got an Adept in the main as well. If this Reaper gets out of this situation, that's crazy. He's going to do it, isn't he?
No,
oh, no, he's not. Yeah, super surrounded there. All right. Now, Harstem, he scouted that there was a barracks on the map or in the base of HeRoMaRiNE, but didn't see anything else. He's probably very worried this game about something crazy going on. But we know that he shouldn't be, because HeRoMaRiNE was just playing it exceptionally safe and maybe mind game with that CC on the high ground. And he's just going into almost a 2-1-1 follow-up. This is kind of like what Ryung was showing us a lot when Ryung kind of bust out on Katowice in that point onward.
All right. So is this a pretty similar opening to what he was doing last game? Because there's a triple barracks as well, yet again, before any semblance of a starport here.
Is there a third barracks? Yeah. It looks very similar, actually. Very early stim at third barracks will finish up and land on that tech lab and get it out its combat shield, but it's not an all-in this game. Like, it's just kind of a weird way to get to 3-1-1. But Harstem's doing something very different this game. He's gone for kind of a defensive blink setup with not the greediest third base, but that's also because of how he hasn't really known what's going on this game at all. So he's kind of gone for a cover-all sort of Protoss build.
Oh, this could be good for Harstem, as the Cyclones are going to go up the ramp, and one of them almost falls. But Harstem unable to line up those Stalker shots. And now he's taking a third base a little bit quicker than Big Gabe. And yeah, like you said, I mean, the +1 attack starts. Combat Shields is a far ways away. So just kind of a weird way to get to that three barrack setup. And yep.
Yeah, like this game is weird because it's not just Harstem that hasn't really known what's going on. By the way, that was really good by HeRoMaRiNE getting to spot that observer just there. But both of them haven't really known what's going on. This has been a lot of doing your thing, making sure you're safe. Like, look at HeRoMaRiNE. He's got 2 Cyclones. They aren't the best against Blink Stalkers at all. He's got this turret at the front because he's like, were you doing a DT build? Like this? Yeah. So a lot of the mind games that have gone off here have not just affected Harstem, but yeah, absolutely affected HeRoMaRiNE too.
It feels like it's primarily affected HeRoMaRinE, right? Because he is playing overly safe to some degree. Like, there's no third CC in sight. There's gonna be a lot of units being made in kind of weird orders off of 2 base. And he actually first secures his natural expansion with a turret, with the eBay. I mean, the eBay does provide him with the option to go into the +1, but it feels like HeRoMaRinE now has to do a lot with this attack.
Yeah, but Harstem's doing the absolute perfect thing. Like, meet it out on the map when it's far away, and every bit of damage you do is free damage. And he hasn't lost a Stalker yet, I don't believe, against this. And he just blinks out of the lock-ons. Oh, okay, there's one of the first Stalkers falling, but hypothetically, if you can do this as perfect as possible, you shouldn't lose anything, but he's already done quite well for himself.
He definitely has, and now out on the map with the Immortal as well. Has to be careful with that one. The Stalker's a little bit slow to blink away from the lock-on, but won't lose any real HP. And now the shield battery in the natural will help him out. A couple of Adepts will fall here, or at least one of them will.
Colossus not yet done. It is on the way. Temporarily supply blocked is Harstem, and HeRoMaRinE's supply is just ramping up. And behind this, he is getting up that 3rd, 4th, and 5th barracks as well.
Yeah, double battery setup here, though, with Colossus on the way. I can't imagine Harstem's at any risk of dying. And yeah, the CC for HeRoMaRinE will finally complete and start morphing into an orbital command in the short vicinity of time. But it feels like Harstem has gotten the better end of this early game, just as far as economy is concerned. Or is there something about HeRoMaRinE's setup that's just like really good in the transition?
Like, not really. I feel that HeRoMaRinE's opening was trying to kind of make Harstem play more safe than normal, and Harstem still played just good. You know, he didn't scout too early, didn't get too tricked or anything. So yeah, Harstem just hasn't really truly taken the bait this game, and now he's got himself to where he wanted to be. 3 bases, a decent setup. He just can't lose control of it anymore.
Yeah, he hasn't continued Colossus production, as I say that he fires up the next one. But yeah, he already has 2 on the field, I guess, and Thermal Lance nearly completed. So when is it go time for Harstem? When does he look to apply pressure? Because I look at both armies right now, and I'm feeling pretty happy with Harstem's, no?
Yeah. But often when it's like, could he apply pressure? He could, but the question is, does he need to? And it really feels like HeRoMaRinE is the one that has to do something.
I see.
So HeRoMaRinE's actually getting tanks onto this mix that he has, which is unusual. I mean, tanks are a better option against Colossus than Widowmines. Harstem is kind of feeling it, though. The fact that he's kind of posturing out on the map and HeRoMaRinE set up this sensor tower, it feels like Harstem thinks that he can move out and maybe get something done, but HeRoMaRinE's waiting for this. It feels like he knew Harstem was going to do something like this.
Very nice snipe onto the Marauder there with the blink, and HeRoMaRinE is looking to maybe meet Harstem in the middle of the map. I'm not sure if that's the wisest idea. The Colossus are gonna try to shoot at the Cyclones, and now a very spread out situation for HeRoMaRinE. So Harstem's gonna disengage for the time being, now turning around onto the little choke provided by that little cube in the middle of the map. The tank is sieged. The Stalkers are gonna give protection to the Colossus by taking down the Vikings, and now the army of HeRoMaRinE, well fanned out, looks to turn around. Lots of Marauders, though, and there's not that many Zealots here.
It is a ton of Marauders, and yeah, both of them playing a little bit Larry, right? Like, I was thinking that HeRoMaRinE doesn't need to fight there, but I also felt the same for Harstem. They're both setting up a 4th base behind it. So they're both kind of testing the waters, really testing out their opponent a little bit. HeRoMaRinE's army is going to get more complex with the Ghosts, and that's just another worry for Harstem at this point. He is getting Disruptors, and they serve very well for him in the first game.
Yeah, but this is such a wide open map in most areas of it that Disruptors don't give me too much hope. That said, I mean, do Colossus? I'm not sure that they do either. These fights have just looked decent for HeRoMaRinE, I think, just by virtue of them being wide and out in the open. And if they fight at either triangle base, it's not going to make any difference. The Colossus now getting caught a little bit off guard, but it will get shielded by a nice Disruptor shot here from the fog.
4 Vikings at a time for HeRoMaRinE. The count right now pretty low, but it will ramp up as time goes by. HeRoMaRinE did add on a rather late armory, but that's because he had to spend so much gas on getting the Ghosts out, getting more Vikings out. The tank count also, I thought it was a weird move, but the tanks have done pretty well so far.
Yeah, a snipe onto a disruptor from HeRoMaRinE will actually cost them like 3 Marauders or so. I think that's about an even trade, but probably feels better for the Terran side of things. Disruptors can be really nasty if they get out of control in terms of numbers. The tanks, like you have been saying, have been fantastic just zoning tools. As this disruptor is actually going to walk into range, and apparently disruptors do outrange the tanks. Do they?
No, I don't think so. I think it's because he didn't have vision, whereas Harstem did.
I see.
Yeah, okay. Nice little run by here from Harstem here with the Zealots. We'll be dealing quite a bit of damage here. 11 SCVs falling. At this stage of the game, that's actually pretty pivotal. Okay. Harstem, he's playing very ballsy. He does pick off a tank here, which is doing nice. Big EMPs landing on these Stalkers.
Yeah, both players nearly maxed now, as the next wave of warpins for Harstem will bring him to 194 supply. And the next set of units will bring HeRoMaRinE right nearby him. 2 more disruptors on the way. DT Blink, upgrades galore. And HeRoMaRinE continues to add on complexity now in the way of Liberators.
Yeah, here, or rather Harstem's knocking at the front door of HeRoMaRinE, just testing the waters a little bit with that Stalker. But yeah, Blink, or rather Shadow Stride, coming online for the DTs in the coming minutes. And Harstem, no chill. Harstem here just running forward against this non-PF right now. Big disruptor shots, but none of them really connect. And HeRoMaRinE's on the chase.
Yeah, but there's another 2 disruptors that are just joining the army, and that will force the disengage from the German.
Harstem's expanding a lot behind this as well, Cats. Like, I really like how he's been handling it, and he's known when to probe up as well. He'll go very aggressive, then take a moment to breathe, then add on more probes. And yeah, look at this. He's just buying time with his Zealot harassment. HeRoMaRinE has got the wherewithal to scan on this army to make sure that that is staying put. So they're both reading each other very well.
Oh!
Wow.
Yeah,
wow,
the disruptors does get picked off there. The next one does pick off like a couple of Marauders on the way out, and that one knows it's not going to connect, so it just goes into the rocks that Harstem was looking to break down. Nice DTs here. 11 workers, 15 have fallen before anything else happens. DT Blink about to be completed as well, which will make it an easy escape should Harstem need to.
Few probes falling somewhere on the map. I mean, this is getting very chaotic between these two. Okay, it's to a Liberator. That will be shut down by the Stalkers, most likely, if they actually shoot at it, which, okay, they just started to. 2-2 is going to come online for HeRoMaRinE pretty soon as well, kind of evening out the upgrades a little bit, because right now, Harstem, he is the big kid on campus. He's bullying around HeRoMaRinE, and they're going for an engagement. HeRoMaRinE not moving!
Massive connections from Harstem, and the army of HeRoMaRinE gets completely deleted. Ben 50 supply in the blink of an eye here for the Dutch, and it's looking like it's all his game now. He's gonna move onto the triangle third. This is an open space, normally very difficult to breach with the likes of Disruptors and Colossus, but with the numbers that Harstem has to work with right now, it's looking very likely. The Vikings are gonna have something to say about that, as they do take down the last remaining Colossus, the last of his kind. But Harstem still with a very, very strong army out in the field.
Certainly does. And look at this from Harstem. I love the fact they just kind of backed off a little bit. He knows he's done a lot of damage, man. He knows it. And here, he's back again. Nova's off cooldown. These bad boys, they just don't know how to miss. And he's going for days. He blinks on the army with multiple units, and oh my goodness. Harstem 2-1 up.
Was there a fist bump? I missed it.
I think that was just, rubbing the hands together like, yeah. But, man, these disruptor shots have been brutal. Like, HeRoMaRinE is going to have PTSD from disrupt shots after this one.
He sure is. And I mean, like, Clem was talking about how if Harstem beats HeRoMaRinE, he could struggle against Harstem himself, right? Because HeRoMaRinE is just that good of a player. But the way that Gabe has been losing has been mostly to disruptor shots, I feel like, right? Like it hasn't been too clear cut aside from that. We actually have a break.
We're getting into it on Blackburn here. Cats is messing with me, team. I can't deal with these awkward silences at the start, you know, where I'm like, Cats, you got it. You're going to bring it in. And then he's like, no, Ben, you've got it. And then we're sat here and I look like a dumbass. And yet again,
you scammed me the previous one. Cause like you say, you bring it in, mate. And I say, you got it, which means, yeah, I'm in agreement. But then you say, okay, I got it. I'm like, no, I got it. Like when I say you got it, I mean, you know, I'm acknowledging your request, Ben.
Okay. There's total culture clash going on here. I was like, you're bringing it in, and then you're like, you got it. And I'm like, oh, I've got it? Okay. Like, okay, that was a big mess up. All right. Now I've got it. Okay. Yeah. Spawning over in the bottom right-hand side, playing for Team Mouseport to this big game.
And in the bottom left-hand side, it is the man leading 2-1, the red Protoss player, Harstem, for the Shopify Rebellion.
He's doing so well this tournament, man. Like, first time in the winner bracket, and now he's 2-1 up against HeRoMaRinE. That is awesome. And by the way, HeRoMaRinE, he's been doing a lot of these proxy shenanigans in this series. You know, normally I like to think of him as somebody that's super damn confident in the super duper textbook when it comes to TVP, but so far he's been nothing about playing the standard. He's just been quite a bit about how to try and trick his opponent, which that's, and I mean, his life's on the line right now. He's absolutely whipping out what he thinks is best in this matchup.
Yeah, and I mean, I think this is just the kind of barracks that doesn't get punished, right? It's so close as well, floating back to his main as well, if he wants to float back. So I like it, because I can't imagine anyone would ever scout there in the situation of Harstem. But if he does get scouted in his main, at least Harstem thinks or knows that there is some proxy out on the map, and he does gain a tiny bit of ground for the Reaper too. So, you know, like, we can call it shenanigans, Benny, but it's pretty minor, and I kind of like it.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. It's just the fact that he goes double gas behind this, and you know, you can kind of do proxies and fake proxies with just one gas going for the expo and stuff. But Harstem he isn't scouting his opponent with the probe. He's scouting kind of around, as he has been doing. And this Reaper arrives super damn early. And yet again, this is kind of a replay of like the first game actually between these two, or the 2K atmosphere at least.
Huge punish onto the probes. There's going to be 2 of them dying. Smartly, Harstem will run the probe away from his base as to protect the rest of the probes that are inside and buy time for his Stalker. But the bunker will go up once again. The Reaper can get a full scout should it choose to, or should he choose to. Now the Stalker on the chase, but there is going to be a battery needed here on the low ground. And it ain't easy, man. It ain't easy.
It ain't easy. Actually, to try and get a battery on that low ground, he'd have to sacrifice a probe, or do what he's doing here, get up a second probe, and he's going to lose that pylon. Yeah. This sucks. Oh my goodness. Completely
sucks. And I mean, even if he sacrificed the probe for that battery, the battery would also be in range of these 2 Reapers in the bunker, so I don't know if it even goes up. So wise maneuver, wise choice here from Harstem to go for the battery, but also really cool for Big Game to put the bunker kind of out in the open, knowing that the Reaper would cover for his SCV instead of in between the Nexus and the Mineral Patch, which is kind of like the obvious one. Nice job getting an extra probe there. And he loses a Reaper for his travels, but at this point, I feel like the Reapers have done more than their jobs. I think that it's fine to lose the Reapers now.
Yes. It's always nice to keep 2 alive. Takes 5 shots to kill a probe, so just kind of chopping that in half and being a threat later on. And obviously, if you have 2 Reapers alive, the scouting potential is a little bit higher. Whereas this bad boy, that just kind of sucks again. But keeps alive and forces the recall there. That was a nice bit of play. Oh my god, the Oracle. That's huge.
Yeah, that is huge. So nice job from Harstem, kind of identifying that the Cyclone was going to be out of lock-on after that, and abuses the timing in between. So beautifully done.
I mean, this is a phenomenal start for Harstem. Like, a few things have been kind of back and forth between them. I loved how HeRoMaRinE was using the bunker to try and kind of go in it, go out of it, go in it, to keep the shield from regenerating on one of the Stalkers. But Harstem's just, he's been playing so damn well. He cancelled that add-on, and he's like, you know what? I'm just gonna. I think he's just gonna get out a lot of naked Marines and push here. Or
he just doesn't like this barracks.
Just didn't like the barrack. Didn't like. Okay, a little bit of indecisiveness from HeRoMaRinE here.
Yeah, so he's gonna go for the faster upgrades, I guess. Try to get that combat shields and push it out a little bit sooner. Or is that for the Marauders? I mean, there's still just Marines in production, but the combat shield hasn't started yet.
Yeah, he'll wait for it like usually. So timing wise, Stim takes 100 seconds. The +1 weapons takes like a little bit longer, maybe like 10-15 seconds longer. 14 apparently, and then combat shields by far the quickest. So to try and get those all lined up, you don't have to do it super damn quickly with the combat shield. You can delay it a little bit, but here you do see that he gets the Marauder production going. The thing is, Blackburn, the way that Harstem has done this, he's bought himself such breathing space. He's got the third already done. He's pumping out 3 probes at a time. He's got a little bit of map control, getting the second Oracle up and running as well. He's just got himself into really good shape by not really doing a hell of a lot. This is a lot on HeRoMaRinE kind of being caught off guard here.
Yeah, which is a little bit strange because those Reapers did accomplish a lot on the other side of the map. It felt like, at least. How heavy is it to lose that first Cyclone? Like, I guess there was another Cyclone made. Is that a Cyclone that he wouldn't have made otherwise?
Yeah, if he didn't lose the initial Cyclone, he wouldn't have made the second Cyclone, if that's what you're asking. But he did have that game on Curious Minds where he did go to Cyclone, which that was definitely unusual, but I think that's also because he was so blind. Okay, this is super weird by Harstem that he's going into Phoenix now. You never really go for one lone Phoenix, at least I don't feel you do. So maybe a sign of things to come later on.
All right. Well, he's going to use the lone Phoenix for the time being just to scout. That could have been a hallucination, though, to your point. And yeah, Harstem does have a little bit of a barrier here in the shape of this Stasis Ward. It's going to catch actually quite a few units, so that'll slow down HeRoMaRinE. But on the other side, he has a double medevac. Nice force field here to prevent some of those units from bleeding into the mineral line, but the mineral line has already been evacuated. And Benny, is this a scary moment for Harstem? He already popped his shield battery overcharge as well.
I mean, it's a little bit scary. He has revealed that he is going into Phoenix Tech afterwards. So that's quite pleasant for HeRoMaRinE to see, like, aha, you're going for that. So we might see HeRoMaRinE pop down the third base, which is done now. Maybe add like a second starport, Ghost Academy. Does sniff out that stasis trap, so that is good news bears for HeRoMaRinE. I think Harstem's been way too greedy, man.
Yeah, and again, no shield battery overcharge to work with here, but great force fields are going to catch 3 expensive units here off guard. The rest of the units of Harstem are in the natural base expansion trying to defend. Extra warpins are going to be stalkers alongside with the Colossus as it spawns. Maybe that's enough, maybe not. The Colossus actually falls. Good target firing from HeRoMaRinE, who's trying to pull Harstem all and every which way as he also drops into the main. Harstem not paying attention right now. A lot of probes falling as HeRoMaRinE is non-stop dropping everywhere now in the third as well, Ben.
Oh my god, Harstem just fell apart, man. It's like his hands don't belong to him anymore. 29 pros falling and GG. Wow. Harstem actually got himself into very good shape that game. But then I think he was way too greedy and tried to do way too much. He was like, you know what? I'm in good shape. As long as my opponent doesn't attack me, I'm going to go into Phoenix. I'm going to go into this. I'm going to go into that. And then it was just like attacked in 2 points and he had no idea what to do. And he couldn't keep up with Big Gabe. But Big Gabe did it so well. So he attacked from the north and then, you know, got some damage done. Then he used that, dropped into the natural, came outside the natural with an army while dealing damage in the natural, picked off a Colossus, then dropped into the main to kind of accumulate his forces, dropping back into so much action, and then attacking again with a new army in the third. It was just very well done by HeRoMaRinE. That is the kind of Big Gabe that I was hoping to see, and that is the kind of Big Gabe that if he can bring that into this final game, that's going to be so hard for Harstem to keep up with.
For sure, that was excellent multitasking there from HeRoMaRinE. And yeah, that'll learn him the game. Those 2 medevacs kind of really sneaky as well. Went all the way around to avoid all of the vision of Harstem, who had set up a nice perimeter. But by the time they show up, it was a little too late, and there was already action going on in the middle of the map, where Harstem had his usual squadron of stalkers, kind of trying to slow things down on the push, right? So Those medevacs show up unannounced at the third base, and then the poor Colossus falling at the natural. And, you know, like, again, the shield battery overcharge as well, like, seemed like it shouldn't have been used just for the 2 medevacs, right?
No, absolutely shouldn't have been. And, like, the Phoenix transition at that point in time as well, it's like, Phoenix is usually something you have to go into earlier, because 1, 2, 3 Phoenix isn't really enough to shut down these Doom drops as you're diving it through bases. And HeRoMaRinE abused that perfectly. There was also that moment, right, where the units went into the main and Harstem just didn't chase and lost all the probes there. So definitely a bit of misplay by Harstem, but he's 2-2 with HeRoMaRinE, so he's obviously doing something right. Spawning over in the top right, representing the Shopify Rebellion, it is Harstem.
And in the bottom left-hand side, as the blue Terran player wearing his mouse wetsuit, it is HeRoMaRinE.
It really, that jersey of theirs, it's been confused with a wetsuit. It's been confused with a cycling outfit. Maybe that's what they were going for, you know?
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe they just have the biggest, most jacked players. They really want to highlight that.
They do have Big Gabe. Like, on average, if you have Big Gabe in your team, even if he's like 1 of 100, you technically have the most jacked team anyway.
True. It shows. True that.
I got another question for you, by the way.
Yeah.
You have Nurtio as your portrait picture.
Yeah.
Is that why is that?
That's because you remember the bet that we made of Elaser versus Denver, and I offered you $100, and then I said if Elaser wins this, or was it Elaser that needed to win it? Yeah, if Elaser wins this, I said I'll change my portrait forever to Elaser.
Aha!
But I didn't have an Elaser portrait, and they're not available for purchase anymore. So the next closest thing was Nurtio.
I see. For a long time, I was using Big Gabe's portrait, actually. And I'd often get matched with Big Gabe, and I felt it was very, a bit weird me wearing his face against him. So then I switched to Innovation when he retired.
Nice.
I was like, I'm never going to run into you anyway, so it felt a lot less weird wearing somebody else's face, you know?
Oh, I see. That's why you thought I was wearing Nurtio, because he's retired, basically?
No. I just wanted to know why you were wearing Nurtio.
Oh, yeah.
But it makes total sense. He is, in fact, imagine a laser listening to this. He's like, wow, you picked like the next closest thing to me and it's Nurtio? Which I know is because of the Polish thing and Zerg's thing, but...
They have the same profile on Twitter as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if you check their Twitter profile, they both say, well, Nurtio retired and never changed his Twitter profile, which says #1 player in Poland, #1 StarCraft 2 player in Poland. And then when Elaser, Nurtio was not retired when Elaser switched his profile to #1 player in Poland, which I always found pretty funny.
I mean, I'm not able to look at Nurtio's profile. He's got me blocked for a long time.
Oh, that's sad.
I 2-raxed him too much.
Fair
enough. I mean, I've blocked people for less. Anyhow, the fact that didn't die there is a bit unfortunate, because that Reaper's just future scouting potential. And so far on this map, it does look like HeRoMaRinE is going for what looks like a very similar to build to what he's been doing so far, where second barracks is done. Wouldn't be surprised if a third one starts up pretty soon. I say that. I was waiting for it, Big Gabe, but it never came.
There we go. There it comes,
baby.
Let's go.
It will be coming.
Right. It will be coming.
Thank you, Niall. Yeah, thank you, Niall, for closing on that one. All right, Blink, the weapon of choice here so far for Harstem, going into a robo as well. He's actually opting for 3 gates, 2 extra ones, before taking a third base or anything. That could still signify that he wants to put on a bit of pressure. The most greedy kind of play for Protosses is where you go just 2 gateways and take a third base, but that can work out as well.
It could indeed. This Adept is once again going to spot a little bit of a move out, but not a very intimidating one. It's just 7 Marines out on the map. Adept is going to threaten with a shade, but that's going to do enough to force the Marines to pull back. The Reaper will spot the probe at the third, so the intentions are made clear.
Let's see. So there are tanks in production. Going to be a lot of bio as well. No starport yet on the field either. Only one tech lab thus far. He's going to do the 2 tank and then get the tech lab on that bad boy. Yeah, HeRoMaRinE definitely feels this build recently. Like, this is what he's been whipping out a lot in this series. Starport does time out quite nicely for when the factory switches, and then he can make the reactor on that. And Harstem doing a decent job of scouting with that adept as well.
Yes, indeed. 2 tank setup as well from HeRoMaRinE. I mean, this is a game with all the chips on the table. This is where the players have to kind of just defend. And here's where I feel like Harstem is gonna have a little bit of an edge. Like, a lot of the time, I feel like the stronger player, in this case HeRoMaRinE, the perceived stronger player, plays a little bit too defensive, right? When they're on the back foot. Like, they play to not die, and if HeRoMaRinE continues to play to not die, I feel like he could just end up losing to a player that is very worthy in Harstem.
This could be a juicy little blink into the main. Oh, not every Stalker does make it, and HeRoMaRinE pretty decently positioned, actually. Will he lose
Very nice.
2, 3 Stalkers? Just 2.
Okay.
And that Observer manages to get away scot-free, though. Like, it's just sat there in the base, just chilling out, seeing everything.
Yeah, that Observer is blessed. I mean, obviously, you know, if you're HeRoMaRinE that they're out there, he should know that there is an Observer there, but maybe not having the scan to spare at that point, or just, I don't even know, maybe not seeing it.
Yeah, certainly. All right. This is also something that HeRoMaRinE does a lot, by the way. He'll get 2 medevacs out or 1 medevac over to the south of his base, and Harstem, yeah, beautifully positioned there.
Yeah. Now, Blink is available as well, so maybe he could have baited a little bit longer. Maybe he could find a way still for those stalkers to intercept the medevacs. I'm a little surprised that Big Gabe is going to be so daring as of to continue to just go on forward with the medevacs, but he is babysitting them from time to time, like just looking at the blue square on his screen. He is going to them pretty often, so looking not to get caught unawares.
Harstem might get caught transitioning here to Colossus, which could be scary. Look at that, by the way. Gabe, so confident to just fly in there, straight into the main base, and Harstem, his own base layout working against him, and oh, that's brutal.
Big time. I mean, that was a maze that he was not planning to have work against him. At least this time around, he does have the shield battery overcharge to work with, but it's going to be primarily onto Zealots, and those guys are going to run pretty far away from it. 2 Immortals are God-given here in order to clear the tanks, however, so Harstem's going to have the answer to those, and with that, he's actually going to manage to push through and push Big Gabriel back.
Yeah, it definitely cost Harstem a little bit of pro building time, a little bit of mining time there, which HeRoMaRinE still doesn't have its 3rd landed, so it's not the end of the world by any means. Supply, very close. 117 for the Terran, 114 for the Protoss. Harstem has to play a defensive role here, though. He committed to that tech with the Colossus, and he's absolutely on the back foot. How many observers do we have, actually? Just 1, which is kind of there south of the main base for Harstem. And look at that. HeRoMaRiNE's just like, you know what? Let's get moving. He's going to start doom dropping like Wano.
All right. I mean, he's going for a 3rd attack again. He's going to start dropping here on the side and going to look for a snipe of sorts. Perhaps he can get the Nexus, he thinks. Maybe aim at the shield battery already. Widowmine's getting planted behind, so the Zealots are going to have a hard time engaging here should they overextend, but with just a few of them going forward, actually, I thought maybe the mines could drag on fire, but no, at least the force fields are very good for Harstem, and that's going to allow for some free pickups. Nothing else going out on the minimap, so Harstem is going to manage to get this, and medevac nearly full goes down, and now Big Gabe will evacuate.
He certainly will, but that was definitely a few losses, wasn't it? I mean, the one saving grace was that Widowmine on retreat, and Harstem, amidst all this chaos, is like, you know what? Let's get this run-by going. Gets to get some SCV damage, some eco damage of his own. 65 SCVs versus 62 workers. HeRoMaRinE does clean up the rest of the run-by, and in fact, he did a good job of shutting down the other run-by at the natural. Bloody hell, this is a good one.
This is a great one. Both players fighting for their lives here. There is no sentry with this army. How big is the Guardian Shield, Benny?
How big is it?
Like, how important is it? Yeah.
Okay. I was like, well, it might be several meters, Gats, you know, but I didn't really know how to answer that one.
There it is.
No, it's definitely a big deal, you know. Like, against Terran, they literally don't have a melee unit. So any kind of way to shut down a little bit of that damage and allow your opponent to, well, just making sure those Marines deal like a good 40% less damage or whatever. It's a big deal. Second starport on the way now for HeRoMaRinE, along with a fourth CCs, getting big upgrades going. Harstem does something a little bit different that we see from like the Max Baxes of the world. I guess she gets that +1 armor as well. Doesn't just go for the pure damage, which is definitely a little unusual. I like that self-kill on the Sorker as well, just clearing up the weird mine. Nice way of doing it.
Yeah, it only cost them the shields as well. On the other side, HeRoMaRinE is ready to move out while poking with a medevac. The medevac will be met, however, by 4 stalkers. Very ready, and it's already used its boost as well. And so it has no escape. Bye-bye to that medevac. Full of Widow Mines, was it? And yeah, on the other side, it's going to be the army pushing. Very Marauder heavy.
If he didn't kill that Widow Mine drop, by the way, I'd have been really scared for Harstem, because supply-wise, HeRoMaRine's still a good 20-odd ahead. If it not for that, we could have been looking at a very different game right now. So very nicely done by Harstem.
No doubt. Never mind if it was successful as well, right? Like if it trades evenly, whatever, if it was successful, oh my god. It would have been terrible because, yeah, that died absolutely for free.
It feels like all of Harstem's prep is paid off this game of knowing little things that HeRoMaRinE does. Like, when he likes to doom drop, where he likes to doom drop and stuff, and just what kind of pace that he plays at and what have you. It's just been very... The practice shows from Harstem this game, it really does.
Yeah, and every game he has set up these perimeters, like it feels like his vision is always great. One Marine will get obliterated by that Disruptor there. As on the other side, the Zealot does manage to get one SCV, but will fall.
Look at this, by the way. Lots of pylons and just random units scattered about by Harstem, which do get cleaned up, but much better them getting cleaned up than losing some pretty damn pivotal pylons in your base, stopping production, or maybe more importantly, losing valuable units like Colossus popping out or probes.
Yeah, for example, these units of HeRoMaRinE are going to run into another unit of Harstem there that's waiting for them to spot. So HeRoMaRinE breaks the rocks, but hey, I'm a Mr. Zealot and I'm ready to see you, Disruptor. A little bit too daring. The Disruptor from the back looking for a shot. Should HeRoMaRinE have overcommitted forward, but he does not. And now Harstem might need to consolidate this army, as this army from HeRoMaRinE looks hella scary.
It certainly does. HeRoMaRiNE's kind of, you can see it like a blue arrow darting to this north side of the map. And Harstem, he's kind of in 2 portions with his army, which could work out really damn well unless one side gets caught off without the other one backing it up. And Shield Battery Overcharge does go off, but can it keep alive the Colossus? One does fall immediately.
Yeah, and that's a good amount of the consistent AoE DPS that Harstem has. The rest of it, of course, is in the less reliable. Oh no, Disruptors! I was gonna say, but now they're gonna get surrounded. 2 of them will be forced to fire, and actually one of them connects onto a Marauder or 2. The next Disruptor is gonna go out, but HeRoMaRinE target fires it yet again. The Blink Stalkers blink as they would, and this Disruptor firing from a little bit too far away, not wanting to expose itself. I think Harstem is mostly out of Disruptors for the time being. He has 5, of course, but none of them are lit up.
Oh, I mean, this game is really on a knife's edge, man. Like, they're both doing a lot of damage. That was a ballsy blink, to say the least. And these Vikings are eliminating the Colossus slowly but surely. And Harstem's relying a lot on these Disruptors for damage. But, man, he's so brazen with these blinkings, it has to be said.
He is. Just feigning strength almost. And now the Disruptors are back up and operational, so he can look to take another engagement. This is a little bit of a daring doom drop from HeRoMaRinE. It could get caught, and Harstem's vision has been fantastic, but this one will not be spotted. Not yet, at least.
That Observer has been lying, waiting for the opportunity, but with a fight like this happening, maybe he doesn't see it. I say that, but that is a lot of Terran flying into your main base. Warping is happening, and a recall happening as well.
Stalkers. Yeah, only 4 Stalkers are not going to hold 4 medevacs, so he couldn't warp in anymore. He was at 191 supply when this was all happening, so, you know, warps in everything that he can, but has to ultimately recall. This Disruptors now left to their own devices, but nice shot there connects and will allow for the rest of them to escape, it would seem, as the rest of the warpins here and the shield batteries are going to give him shelter.
Harstem's making it look like HeRoMaRinE doesn't, well, he's making it look like HeRoMaRinE can't do anything, and HeRoMaRiNE's really trying to do something, isn't he? Like, that was a drop into the main, trying to attack over here. Attacking over there as well. He's having to defend against Harstem at the same time against these DTs. Love the snipe usage on these DTs as well, by the way. And now he's trying to get more drops done on this right side. They are sniffed out, though.
Yeah. Oh, the blink, I mean, that was a little unnecessary at that point, but Harstem felt like the drop was going to commit. Instead, HeRoMaRinE will just unload here, and now he has access to Harstem's triangle should he want it. So instead, he chooses to go for the main again, though, and now Harstem's going to be ready for that. So he will go or end up going towards the triangle. There's nothing there to save, so Harstem's just going to look to evacuate. On this side, the Disruptors are looking to zone off, and they will find some decent, but not amazing shots.
I heard a few ghost die there, though, Cats. They are not quiet about their deaths, and those EMPs on the high ground making those Stalkers a lot weaker, and HeRoMaRinE just going to go for it. I mean, he didn't have much opportunity, right? But Harstem shuts this down, and Harstem's back on 4 bases, all things said and done, but as is HeRoMaRinE. But the one thing that's getting added to this army for HeRoMaRinE that so far Harstem's only answer to it is Stalkers plus 2 Liberators. They are going to help a lot for HeRoMaRinE when it comes to these fights.
This is an incredibly close game. The gas bank from Harstem was massive at 2k. Now a little bit smaller after those DT warpins. Is that where you want to dump your gas if you're a Protoss player? You were saying maybe the Archons at this stage are just not good given the number of ghosts that there are. So is that it? Do you just DT or?
DTs, get your AoE going as well. I mean, this is a big Hail Mary push down the middle, and it's the kind of push that absolutely has caught HeRoMaRinE a little bit off guard. And maybe that third base is super forfeit at this point for Big Gabe, because coming down this ramp against that many disruptors is going to be super hard. And yeah, Harstem gets it.
Yeah, but the SCVs are allowed to escape. Maybe one disruptor shot could have been used to try and tag some of those on the way out, or even as they were hugging the bunker. The SCVs are going to take an awkward road to their new base. And now with the Liberators, HeRoMaRinE will reclaim a lot of his own space.
This is such a hard repositioning game for HeRoMaRinE. He is starting to get a bit of control again, but look at that. That's a lot of DTs. That's 16 SCVs down, and they're out of there scot-free. Look at that. Harstem's actually playing crazy good and disruptors everywhere.
Oh my god. That was incredible, but HeRoMaRiNE's supply has not fallen. I mean, look at the production. A lot of it is invested there. A lot of it is tied there. It's not on the field right now. Is this an opening for Harstem, Ben?
Oh, absolutely. Harstem has more than a chance in this game. He's back up to 5 bases. These disruptors are really hard to micro against, and he's doing such a good job of not staying in one place at one time. He does have to be so careful, though, because in a straight-up engagement, these Liberators will tear him apart.
Yeah, and he doesn't have as I say that, 2 more disruptors join the fray, and yeah, with that, he's gonna have near just constant disruptor shots, so that's really nice for him. He can continue to deny maybe just the triangle third, as these Liberators are gonna make it difficult to breach elsewhere. And now we have a little bit of a fan, a little bit of a flower of Liberators. However, the DTs are not gonna care too much about that. They're gonna leap on forward and try to take down the planetary fortress. They will do so successfully as HeRoMaRinE repositions some of his army, and that leaves an opening for Harstem to jump the front here. Additional disruptor shots are gonna be fired onto nothing, but more importantly, all of the Liberators have fallen, and Harstem with another little poke here. HeRoMaRinE does not go unanswered, as he will siege a Liberator and find some probes himself.
Oh, you see that Harstem wasn't thinking he was going to get attacked there and was a bit late to launch those Novas, but HeRoMaRinE respected him too much and backed off. These disruptor shots, man, they're really not missing. Harstem doesn't know how to miss. And right now, more SCVs are falling. I think there's some DTs going on somewhere. Yeah, they are. Look at that. 15 kills on that bad boy. 16. Oh, this is the kind of damage that HeRoMaRinE can't afford.
Yeah, he's as stoic as ever. We don't see a sigh. We don't see any sort of reaction from HeRoMaRinE, but this game is quickly crumbling. He's going to have to make some miracle happen here in order for him to not be eliminated in the first upset of the day. And what an upset that would be. No one predicted this, Benny. It's likely now to happen as another disruptor shot connects, and a few units is a few units too many right now. The rest of the flank of HeRoMaRinE is trying to encroach onto the army of Harstem, but it's not going to find anything. And now Harstem, with a very strong hold here, still disruptors available, will allow for the retreat after trading excellently yet again.
I love the fact that Harstem got out of there. Look at this army, completely out of shield, or rather plasma shields, and He's back again. The plasma shield is recharging, and he's just looking to pile on the pressure continuously. I love this tempo of play from Harstem.
It is absolutely brilliant, and I mean, he doesn't even need to do too much more, right? As long as he is denying the 5th from HeRoMaRinE, as long as he continues to find the pokes with the DTs here and there, HeRoMaRinE really struggles to have enough army to answer dual prong harass, much less to expand. So things are looking incredible for Harstem. How do you recover if you're HeRoMaRinE here?
I mean, even if he slows down the game, what are you aiming for? Because Harstem isn't going to let it happen. He's absolutely doing what he needs to do. He needs to keep on moving, avoiding those Liberators, but also obliterating the Liberators when he gets the opportunity. So keeping that count real low.
DTs again, I believe, in the 3rd base, or I saw some red something, but maybe no SCVs have fallen, so I'm not sure what was going on there. Maybe just a cellular or something, as these 3 DTs are going to look to sneak in again. The army of Harstem, of course, continues to threaten at the front, and whenever he finds a little gap, he will blink forward and take down those Liberators. Those were the biggest nuisance. Those were the ones that were stopping it. So yeah, 3 DTs pull enough of an army from HeRoMaRinE back that Harstem finds the space to comfortably make those plays, make those blinks, and continue to make space for himself. Now this might be the final stance for HeRoMaRinE. He's gonna come from every which angle. It's a 360 surround nearly, but it's not looking like enough, though. Units from the back as well, but enough Liberators are gonna survive, or enough, I'm sorry, Disruptors are gonna survive. Some of them are gonna be recalled, and HeRoMaRinE with a miraculous hold, Ben. Is this what he was looking for? Is this enough?
I mean, that was absolutely what he was looking for, but can he keep the tempo up? Because right now, he's fairly broke, Cats. He's down to 45 workers against 69. Nice. But that was Harstem maybe overextending just a little bit, but it's still on Harstem's side. Like, he's still feeling so good behind all this. He's up to 6 bases at this point.
Yeah, but HeRoMaRinE has really managed to relieve the pressure. Yeah, I mean, there's only 1 Disruptor at the moment on the field. I think 2 more were in production, so it should be up to 3 now. But yeah, I mean, it's not the 8 or so that were out there before, right? So HeRoMaRinE is lagging in supply. Don't get me wrong, but the army is actually pretty close, and the complexity is not really all there for Harstem anymore. So as much as he's still posturing, as much as he's still looking out to deny bases out on the map, it's HeRoMaRinE now with an opportunity to make something happen. Harstem's gonna pounce onto this base, but this could be all for naught. If he doesn't get it, it could be awful. The Disruptor shot will be decent, but the army of HeRoMaRinE, some of it has already gotten close enough to the Colossus to threatening. However, the Colossus will escape. And with that, I mean, Harstem is looking for a retreat, might get taxed as Disruptors. They are a little bit slow, but as he turns the corner, HeRoMaRinE looks to disengage.
HeRoMaRinE's been so crazy this game with just kind of loading up units and going and dropping somewhere, but he needs to do something crazy. I feel like if HeRoMaRinE microed, like in that one fight where he got a full-on 360 degree surround, if he did that the whole game, Harstem would have been in so much trouble. But for a lot of it, it's just been a lot about these Disruptors landing, and look at that, Harstem's here to greet this.
Yeah, Harstem already killing one of those medevacs before it unloads. Only 1 unit unloaded from one of those, and the rest of the army of Harstem in good position enough to follow through, which means HeRoMaRinE is not going to find anything with that play. He is now lagging 50 supply behind just nearly. On the other side, he's going to look for something, and he really needs to find this triangle base. Harstem is doing his best to try to split his army into two effective sides, and will it be enough as HeRoMaRinE finally gets some probe damage, and it's big in terms of equalizing. Will he be able to evacuate? No! Does he have anywhere to run? That was a probe recall, man.
I mean, that was a crazy recall. 18 probes did go down there, which is a big number, but I'm just seeing supply for... Oh my god, we missed something. I click on the 1 Disruptor there. It's got 12 kills, so I think that was the splatter blood. Oh my god, Harstem. Wow. He just took down HeRoMaRinE 3-2.
That's amazing. Big reaction from him as well. I mean, he did at about 40 fist bumps, and HeRoMaRinE pulls his microphone to explain